Hello, it is Nadia. This is day 48 of 90, and today I'm going to do a quick overview about the coronavirus. I think it's time for us to have that conversation, especially if you have not already been having the conversation amongst your family, friends, and community. First, I want to stand up and let you guys see my shirt because I can't seem to push the camera back far enough. And, I just need a microphone. But anyway, so I'm dressed for the climate again. So you see the tree trunk goes into a peace sign. It's got these beautiful leaves all over it. Think about the climate always. So I did a posting a couple days ago saying, the coronavirus is probably going to blow over in about a month. And kind of jokingly saying that the president said that as kind of an official type deal. And of course, we know that we can't really believe and trust and stand on what he says. So I made the posting. It was a hope. It was a wish. And then I started seeing where they're talking about possibly canceling the Olympics, which is huge. I mean, you think of all the athletes that's been trying for 4 years, getting to this journey. Simone Biles about to be the most decorated, et cetera, et cetera. And you see that the implications will be huge throughout the world for all these world athletes. You can't just postpone the Olympics. You would have to pretty much cancel it. And this is, 4 years gone for a lot of people, not to mention all of those that have travel plans. But it kind of pressed upon me how much more serious this is getting. Also today in the news, you may or may not have seen that the coronavirus has made it down to South America. South America, outside of Antarctica, was the last continent that had not been touched by this virus. Now it has made its way to South America. So you've got 6 major continents. Well, 6 out of 7 continents that now have been touched by it. And it seems like it is spreading a lot quicker than we'd hoped, and it's just extremely hard to contain. Main reason being people can have it for about a week before they show symptoms, but they're contagious during that week that they appear healthy. And that's what makes this one very hard to contain, as opposed to the Ebola virus that we saw a few years ago, which only had a lead time of like a couple days. So it was a lot easier to contain that. That didn't get very far. And personally, and I guess maybe I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I do feel like this is probably a lab experiment that got out, or this was a test to see the mortality rate. And now we're all suffering from it. And I'm sure the mortality rate is not what somebody in the lab expected. I am very encouraged that the mortality rate is pretty low. Overall, I think it's only about 3%. And I did print out some things for today. Okay, of course it's somehow stuck to the paper. Okay, so I did print out some of the stats, and I'm encouraged overall that the mortality rate is only about 3%. However, it gets a lot worse for people that are older, people that have cardiovascular disease, heart disease, and people with respiratory diseases. So once you start getting into critical categories, you do see a lot higher mortality rate. So if you're I want to quote this correctly. So ages 70 to 79 has an 8% fatality rate. So if you're in your 70s, those in those 70s have an 8% fatality rate of the coronavirus. 80 and above, it jumps to almost 15%. Now, among those who have a critical condition, it jumps up to 10% for those who have heart disease, 7% for those who have diabetes, 6% for those who have chronic respiratory illnesses, asthma, and other respiratory illnesses, and then 6% for those who have hypertension, high blood pressure, and 5.6% for cancer overall. It doesn't break it down into different types of cancer. So that can be a little bit alarming. And then, of course, if you're already in critical condition, it jumps up wildly, up to 49%, depending on some conditions. So because of those stats, and because that tends to be a lot of my community, still doesn't seem alarming. I mean, 10% mortality rate isn't bad, but you certainly don't want to be that 1 out of 10, right? So So I just thought today I would go over some of my preparedness tips to help those of you who might not have been thinking about it up until now, and I'm encouraging you to at least start thinking about this. What will you do if there comes a time when you can't leave your house for a week or two, waiting for this to pass? What are you going to, what do you have in your home? If today was that day where there was some mandate issued, everybody stay in your house for a week, are you ready? Are you ready for that moment? And I do believe that chemical terrorism is going to be a thing at some point, whether these random illnesses that we're seeing is a part of it, or if there's some other plot. There's, of course, always a plot. So you need to be ready. You need to always have things on hand. So if that day came and it was, if you're on the road right now, get home and stay home, you need to be able to at least survive a couple weeks. My dream is to have enough to survive for a year without coming out the house. I desperately want to be a recluse, and everything that I've been doing lately has been to move myself to my dream life. I sat down, I wrote how I want my life to look, and I'm trying to make moves to go in that direction. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, you're so personable, you're so great, you're so funny, you're so this, you're so that, you're a people person. I am, but it takes work. And I believe my Enneagram number is 9 with a bit of 4. And that is being prepared and being a recluse. So that is my true nature. That's what makes me happy. I was able to do that pretty much most of the month of January, and I was the happiest I had ever been in my life. Okay, so we're going to go through my own personal tips. And I want to preface this by saying I am not a doctor. So before you incorporate anything new into your own life, please run it by your doctor. I will go through what I know of each thing that I'm recommending, but of course you have to do your own research. I know a lot of people often do not, but if you do have any kind of underlying health issues, you want to see your doctor before you start incorporating new things. Okay, so for up until now, I've been really, really healthy for like the past couple years. I used to be a person that got sick. I'd have 3 or 4 ear infections a year, 3 or 4 sinus infections a year. It was so common. And then I started taking oregano every day. Now they have this in a pill form. They also have this in a liquid form. The liquid form comes in an eyedropper, and if you travel a lot, it will burst with the air pressure. And then I was losing bottles of this. It's about $30 for this, which gives you 2 pills a day, or the eyedropper is about a month's supply. It's like $30 something. But I was losing a lot of bottles and air pressure because it just pops open. So the pill I find works just as well. Anytime you're taking oregano oil, you want to make sure that it's got the Wild Mediterranean P73 on it. I know this is backwards, but P73. You want to make sure it says that. And this is just kind of an antibacterial, antiviral, immune support pill that helps you. So I take one. Sometimes I'll take up to 3 a day if I feel like something's coming on, but on a regular day, 1 or 2 is fine. And you can take this for the long haul. You don't have to really stop this at any time. If you're a teacher, if you work in the public, this is fine to take all the time. Most people, you'll go to GNC or Vitamin Shop and they'll tell you, oh, you wouldn't take an antibiotic a day. Don't take this every day, but this is natural. Antibiotics are not. So this is my number one go-to. Just for daily immune support. And I've taken this for the long term and hadn't been sick in like 2 years. I stopped taking it. I'm sick now, and this upper respiratory infection is like kicking my butt. So now I'm back to taking it, but it works on the front end, not the back end. The next thing I want to recommend to you guys, and this is a pick one type of deal. So pick oregano oil, or you can pick echinacea and zinc mixed together. You've probably heard of that combination. Tons of companies make both of these. Get whichever one makes you feel great. I don't take echinacea as much as I used to. This used to be my go-to, but I find that it started making me nauseous. And to me, being nauseous is about the worst thing in the world. I have so many allergies. It's been so much a part of my life, and I don't like being nauseous. However, I do still keep it on hand. And it's very inexpensive. I think a bottle of, this is 100. I probably paid maybe $8 or $9 for this. maybe 12 for the zinc. The thing about echinacea, if you are using this as immune support, you can take this for about 3 months, and then you need to stop for 2 or 3 weeks, let your body detox, and then start again. So echinacea and zinc work really well together as immune support, and that might be something else that you want to have in your cabinet in case any virus comes up. I really believe having a healthy immune support system is going to be your best defense over coronavirus or anything else out there right now. So this or this together. And a lot of people also swear by Golden Seal. I've never taken Golden Seal. It's a mixture of herbs as well. It's also very well known for being great for immune support. However, you can only take Golden Seal for about 2 weeks, and then you need to stop it for 2 or 3 weeks to let your body detox and then start it again. So that is more of, if you have something right now in the moment, take Golden Seal for a couple weeks, try to build your immune system, and then come off of it. It's not an everyday deal. So with all of that being said, again, I use oregano oil because I can use this every day for years, and I don't have any adverse reactions, and I don't need to come off of it to let my body detox. It is wild Mediterranean herbs, wild oregano, essentially. And yes, if you take the droplets, you will smell like oregano. So another reason why the capsules are very good. Yeah, I don't have any reactions to this. So that's my number one go-to. I have this on delivery from Vitamin Shop, and I like this company in particular, Oregano. And they have Super Strength and all these other creations. I just go with their standard brand, and that's enough for me. Echinacea and zinc is a good second choice. So those are my immune supports. The other thing that I add to this, and you can add this no matter what you take, is good old-fashioned apple cider vinegar. But I only trust Bragg's. I only trust Bragg's. Do not get the white or yellow vinegar out the store that comes in the gallon jug and take that and think you're doing something for yourself. You're really not. That's like colored water, basically. I mean, it's okay for cooking, but so is this. So I take Bragg's, and anytime you're doing and I just kind of shook it. Anytime you're doing any kind of apple cider vinegar for health support, you want to make sure that it is organic. It has the mother in it. Do you see all of that, what I call dirt at the bottom? You want that in your vinegar. And this is coming from tons of apples, tons of nature. You can shake it up if you want to. I don't. I feel like just having the mother in it, the dirt, I feel like just having the dirt in it, and it's been sitting in it for however long, you've gotten all the benefits, but I don't actually need to drink that part. So I just keep mine on the cabinet. I let it settle, and I take a tablespoon every day. This is really, really good, not just for viruses. There's a lot of health benefits to it as well, but the main one being it does lower your blood pressure. So this is, again, where you want to talk to your doctor before making this a daily part of your regimen. I have low blood pressure, but it doesn't go below like 117/72. I also know my numbers. I go to the doctor regularly. I get my checkups every year. And so I know my numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you want to start knowing your numbers. You want to start going to your doctor on a regular basis. But this is great if you have high blood pressure. However, I will caution, if you are already on high blood pressure medication, you want to make sure that you're checking your blood pressure if you start taking this, because this is extremely effective for lowering your blood sugar and lowering your blood pressure. A lot of people don't like the taste of it. I get it. I don't mind it. I literally just take a tablespoon every day and go on with my day. They also say that you can mix it with water or juice. I tried that, and I just feel like it is more to drink. And I love salt and vinegar potato chips. I love things that are bitter and salty. So I don't mind it, but if you just have to mask it, some people put this in tea. That could work too. Again, I just take a tablespoon and go on with my day. If I feel like something is coming on, I will take maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons throughout the day. And this is my daily regimen for health support: oregano and apple cider vinegar. Check your blood sugar if that is the thing for you. maybe you could use this instead of your medication. But again, you want to check with your doctor on that. But I can tell you it does lower your blood pressure without you having to do anything else, without you having to make any diet changes. Although that may be a reality for some of us, we might need to, but this is really good. Now, for those of you that just can't stand the taste of it, just can't stomach it, and again, I only trust Bragg's. You will find a pill in the store. I've never taken the pill because it's not made by Bragg's. Bragg's also has a book that you can purchase on. I have the ebook from Amazon. It's written by the Bragg's family, and it goes literally from A to Z, ailment after ailment, from like acne to lupus to whatever else, and it tells you how apple cider vinegar can assist you in doing liver cleanses, assist you with acne, assist you with all these different ailments. There's all kinds of concoctions that you can make with like actual cherry juice and all these things to combat gout and everything else. So if you just can't stomach the taste of apple cider vinegar by itself, the Bragg's family has also created a line of juice. I have never tried this. I'm going to try this on camera for you guys because I know how you guys like a taste test, and I'm not thinking that I'm gonna like it, but I've seen people drink the ginger formula. I think they have a ginger and lime, which has the apple cider vinegar in it, and they also have a honey and something that has the apple cider vinegar in it. This is apple cider vinegar and grape juice and acai. So this is another option. This is 2 servings. So you would need tons of these. You know, you would drink half a bottle every day. To me, again, this is just unnecessary. This bottle is about $4 or $5 out the grocery store or out of the vitamin shop. I think I paid $1 something for this, but this is going to last me 2 days. That is going to last me almost a month. So let's just see what the grape juice tastes like. And I know I'm going to probably hate this. Letitia says she loves that juice. Margie uses the oregano oil and the apple cider vinegar. I love it. You guys are already on it. Okay, it smells like grape and vinegar. Okay, I actually like that. It's not bad. I taste a little bit of the vinegar. They have managed to make the grape overpower the vinegar a bit, so I wouldn't mind this. But again, for the cost, I don't need it. I don't have a problem just drinking the apple cider vinegar by itself. So for the cost, I wouldn't buy tons of these and have these in my home because I literally take a tablespoon every day. But that is another option for you, and I don't mind the taste. You might just want to buy the apple cider vinegar and some Welch's grape juice and make your own concoction. I think I tried it with apple juice because apple cider vinegar is largely apple, and it didn't work for me. And I tried it in water. That really didn't work for me. And, you know, over time, I've just built up a resistance to the taste, and I don't mind it. Bragg's family also has a line of seasoning. So again, if you're having a hard time getting the vinegar in, and I swear by it, it has so many health benefits. They also have what I purchased a long time ago. Another thing I like about apple cider vinegar, it's going to last you years. I actually purchased this a couple years ago. I've never cracked it open, but it doesn't expire for like another year still. So they have a line of salad dressings. You can cook with that. You can put it over vegetables. You could just put it over your salad if you eat veggies every day like we should. So this is another option for you where it's made with Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar and extra virgin olive oil. And it's gluten-free. So this is something for you. You've got the Bragg family right on there with their labels and their names. They also have a retreat out in California if anybody is interested in really taking a healthy lifestyle change. But this is just a vinaigrette. I haven't tried it, but I like vinaigrette, so I'm thinking it'll be good. They also have different kinds of seasonings and yeast in the grocery store. So Bragg's you can trust. They've been at this for decades, and you know I trust their products immensely. So that is another option for you. If you can't do the apple cider vinegar by itself, you've got a juice, you've got a vinaigrette. Just post that one more time so that you guys see that. And I got both of these out of Smith's. And Smith's is a subsidiary of Kroger. So anywhere you are in the country, you probably have one of the two. If you don't, I think I've gotten it at Albertsons before as well. Okay, so just a few more things I'm going to run through. Being a person that works in the public, again, you know, we have all these different kinds of support. So this is something else I kind of swear by. This I use when I, again, feel like something's coming on. Some people use one of these packets a day. I just tend to use it if I feel like I'm getting something. And in that case, I might do 2 or 3 of these during the day. And this is just a high dosage of vitamin C. Your body, of course, is going to expel anything it can't use. So once you get beyond 100%, you're probably not taking in a lot of it. But still, I would just swear by 2 or 3 of these a day if I felt like something was really coming on, and try to combat any illnesses. So I think from a healthy perspective, those are going to be great options for those of us that are trying to combat coronavirus or anything else. If you go on Amazon today, I was on there off and on all day yesterday. Face masks are already gone. Like, you're not getting a face mask anytime soon unless you happen to go into a store and get one. So if you're already behind the 8 ball like myself, you're probably not going to get that. And for the face mask, you want the one that says N as in Nadia, N95. 95% of particles and dust and germs it's keeping away from you. So if you can find an N95 mask, grab it. You're golden, but it's probably going to be a high cost at this point. Any other mask, it might help you a little bit, but it's not really providing the protection that you think it was. Those little flimsy things that you get in the hospital probably aren't doing much against something such as coronavirus. And then one of the Margie, thank you. Las Vegas is completely out. I think most people at this point are completely out, or out at Walgreens. One of the articles I read, though, said that it's really not the face mask that is going to be effective. It's what you touch. We touch things and we touch our face, or we touch our bodies. So more than face masks, you might want to invest in some gloves. Now, I know it's starting to get hot. We're starting to come up on summertime. Nobody wants to walk around wearing gloves. However, you really need to be mindful of what you're touching more so than what you're breathing in, because chances are we're not that close to random strangers letting people invade our personal space. I know I'm great at keeping it at arm's length. If you work in the public and you don't have that luxury, then I get it. You might need a face mask, but I think gloves are going to be the better way to go. And I was also on Amazon today trying to find just the travel sizes of Lysol. They were already out of that. So I went to the couldn't get that off of Amazon, didn't see it in my grocery store. So this was the smallest can that I saw, which was 12 ounces. My purse is big enough so that I could throw this in my purse. This might be your other defense if you can't get the travel size Lysol and you can't get wipes. You don't want just Huggies wipes. You want some kind of antibacterial wipes or spray. So before you touch an elevator, before you touch a railing, before you sit down at your shared space, unfortunately, we might be at a time where we all have to be the crazy people in the office, Lysoling down everything before we begin our workday, because it's just coming to that. This is a virus that a person can seem perfectly healthy. They can feel completely fine, and they have it for a week, and they're contagious before they realize they have it. And then they've got to retrace their steps for the past week to see who they might have spread it to. You may or may not get that notice. So you just want to do the best you can for yourself to protect yourself against any viruses. And although I don't know if a coronavirus is actually one of the viruses that Lysol can kill, because I do believe it's man-made, it doesn't hurt to disinfect your area. So those are my tips for getting ready for this virus. Another thing that I want you guys to think of is what happens if you have to be in your house for a week or two. Are you ready? Do you have the basics such as water? And I am recommending that you have at least a week's worth of water in your stash at any given time, because you never know when that time may come where you can't go outside for a week or two. So, reality, it could be a month or two. So I went out today buying more water. All water is not created equal. So I just want to make that clear. Those of you, especially in my online Toastmasters Club, you see me drinking this all the time. I love this water. It tastes very clean, very pure. There is no taste. Water should not have a taste. So when I taste water, I hate it, because water is not supposed to have a taste. And I like this for 2 reasons. First reason is from upstate New York, where I'm from. So, of course, I like to support local things, even though I no longer live there. And it also comes in a carton. And that's important because when we buy water in plastic jugs, and when I went to Al Gore's training, I actually sat next to someone who worked for a water department, and he was just telling me the dangers of drinking water out of plastic jugs. Yes, a lot of our little carry water bottles may be BPA free, but the water that you buy in the grocery store may not be. So, if your water is sitting in a storage unit in Vegas, in Dallas, in someplace that's really, really hot, and it's been sitting there for months and months on end, there's BPA seeping into your water before you even purchase it. And you may or may not think about that. So that's another reason why this carton is good. It's not letting in sunlight, and it's not getting BPA into your water. So I like these a lot. However, this is really hard to purchase in a large quantity. One, my store doesn't carry a lot of them. They only have about 10 or 20 at a time. I try to drink 5 a day. Another thing is this takes a lot of space to store. So when you're talking about storing a week or two or a month or two worth of water, if you're in a small place, then you probably don't have the space. So on a daily basis, this is what I drink. And if you can store a lot of this, great. When you're buying water, you want to look at the expiration date. And yes, water does expire. I went to the store today and there was quite a few bottles of water that expired in like a few months. So that is not great for long-term storage. So I went through the effort of searching for things that didn't expire until 2022. So this water I absolutely hate. But it is just your standard, get a gallon for like 89 cents or $1.19 or whatever. Much more cost effective. What I forgot to mention, this is $1.25 per 16 ounces. So this is $1.25. I drink 5 of these a day. This is like $1 for a whole gallon. So this is much more cost effective. And, as far as space, it's easy to store 5 or 6 of these versus 30 of these. So this is what I have. I have 3 of these in my back stock just for emergencies. And I'm only pulling that out for emergencies because, one, I hate it. It's one of those waters that has a taste. What I am trying to move to is alkaline water. And it's about $3 for a gallon. They had this today, 2 for $6. So I haven't done my studies on alkaline water, so I'm not going to do a big old speech on it right now. I will do something on water later after I've really researched, but they say alkaline water is the way to go. It has more health benefits, and then this has Himalayan minerals in it, which I strongly encourage, like Himalayan salt. So try a couple things out. I bought a couple different waters today as well, and I don't know what I did with them. They're also alkaline. I'm going to try a couple out, but my whole thing is when you know better, you do better. So educate yourself, try different kinds of water, see what works for you, see what you like, and get yourself to a point where you're drinking the amount of water that you need per day. They say take your weight divided by 2. That's how many ounces of water you need. So get your daily intake in just on a daily basis, and then have something set aside. So at the very least, if we did have any kind of crisis, you've got a week's worth of water available for you, and you want to make sure that you have enough for you and your family. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quickly, which doesn't really have to do with coronavirus preparedness. I see a couple questions coming in. I'll get to those in just a second. Don't necessarily have to do with coronavirus preparedness, but kind of goes in line with the apple cider vinegar and lowering your blood pressure and all of that. So I am starting to do a little more research, and I'm finding that all salt is not created equal, just as all water is not created equal. So I am moving myself over to pink Himalayan salt. I have gone to salt caves before, and I absolutely love them. I don't know if you've seen them on Groupon, but there's so many more benefits to Himalayan salt. If you have respiratory issues like I do as far as sinuses, it definitely does cleanse. I'm eventually going to get a salt lamp for my home, but there's a salt cave right down the street, and I don't like massages or spas, but I love just sitting in a salt cave for an hour and clearing out my sinuses. So I don't mind spending that price. But just for home use, you could use pink Himalayan salt. It's a little bit saltier than table salt, so you don't need as much of it. So that is what helps people to bring down their blood pressure. And then it has a lot more benefits, like reducing varicose veins, reducing water retention, lowering the blood pressure. There's like 20 great benefits to using pink Himalayan salt. And we used to have a big push for table salt like decades ago because there was an iodine crisis and people weren't getting enough iodine. So they started putting iodine in salt and they mandated that everybody have so much salt per day. That's really not our issue these days. Like literally, if you go to McDonald's and you eat some fries, you've got your iodine for probably a year. Like we're good. We get iodine from other sources, so we don't need to use the table salt anymore. So it's probably the worst kind of salt that we can get. I'm sure it's chemically processed and broken down anyway, and it loses its flavor and its potency over time. So I just feel like this might be worth a look for some people, especially if blood pressure is your issue. And aside from just the salt itself, and this is awesome because it comes in a grinder, you actually can get a big container that's already finely ground as well. I like grinders because it makes me feel fancy. But there's also, McCormick has gotten on bandwagon, and they have seasoning with sea salt and one with pink Himalayan salt. Sea salt or pink Himalayan, both of those have great health benefits over table salt by itself. So this one is Himalayan salt with black pepper and garlic. And they also have black pepper, garlic, and onion if you want the Himalayan. And then if you just want sea salt, they have this one, which is an Italian seasoning: basil, oregano, garlic, and sea salt. So there are just some other options for you that I want you guys to start looking at, as opposed to just your regular table salt, which does absolutely nothing for us. Look at some better options. May cost you a little bit more, but it may last you a bit longer. So so that's just my PSA for today. But at the end of the day, if you do nothing else, apple cider vinegar, oregano oil, talk to your doctor. If you have a doctor that's against holistic healing, they might just tell you all of this is bad because they want you to purchase their medication so that they get a kickback. But try the apple cider vinegar. If you have low blood pressure, monitor yourself, over the course of a week. And if you have high blood pressure and you're taking blood pressure pills, monitor yourself. If you're just regularly just kind of going about your day and you're not on any kind of medications, then you should not have any adverse effects. And actually the juice is very good. So I would recommend that if you just can't get apple cider vinegar down, but this is only 2 servings. That's, to me, just such a waste of money unless you just like buying that juice. Okay, so let's see. May need to try it. Where did you get it? I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but all this stuff you can get at the grocery store. Even the grocery store has a vitamin aisle. So pretty much everything I've listed here, I go to the vitamin shop to get my vitamins because I'm a reward member with them. So they mail me my oregano oil. They'll mail you anything you want and you get 10% off of it. But most of the stuff you can get echinacea, zinc, golden seal, your preference. It's just a personal preference. If you've got 400 milligrams of echinacea, 400 milligrams is 400 milligrams. But what I probably should have mentioned is I have a lot of allergies. So I'm always reading the label, making sure that there's no fish, there's no soy, there's no dairy. This actually says it does not have all those things in it. And if you do have allergies, you do need to be really careful, especially seafood allergies. There was a vitamin that I bought a long time ago, and I took it and I was getting sick a lot, and I couldn't figure out why I was so nauseous every day. And my brother was like, well, what are you doing different? And I'm like, well, I just started taking vitamins. And he's like, read the label. The capsule was made with shellfish. It was like crushed shellfish. So if you have allergies, read the labels. So that may be a determining factor of what you purchase. Because different companies are going to have a different kind of shell. Some may even have capsules versus a tablet. So this obviously came right from the vitamin shop. It's got their seal on it. But you can pick up this stuff anywhere. This juice I got from the grocery store in the juice aisle. The vinaigrette from the salad dressing aisle. Apple cider vinegar is normally in the... is normally with the rest of the vinegars. So all this stuff came from the grocery store.